Oh, hello everyone. Apparently it really wants me to stream that way. Hello. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us tonight. If you're out there, please say hi. Welcome. This is William here at Allegory Gallery. Andrew will be joining us, I'm sure, in a little bit. He's working on a few things right now, but he'll be he'll be up in a little bit. Suzanne is here, I see, says, hello everyone, how's Tallulah doing? William, take care tomorrow outside, forecast record highs. Yeah, I haven't even checked the weather for tomorrow. Tomorrow, it is supposed to be sunny, but it's actually the lowest of the next 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 days to follow. So we're going to hit 86 tomorrow, which is hot. But as long as it's not too humid, I don't know what the humidity is supposed to be like. I don't get that. I'm trying to see here, but it doesn't tell me that. Oh, maybe I can get the humidity. Let's see. Only 68% humidity. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Between noon and 6, which is when we will be out, it's only going to be like 50% humidity. So that's actually pretty good. That's actually, it's coming out to be, I think, a really good day out tomorrow. I have to find our tent. I have a few things I need to do yet for tomorrow. I kind of did a pre-setup in the store today of some things, but some of the stuff was here at the cottage and some of the stuff is here at the house. So I still have to put together everything. But I had to stop at Walmart today because I needed some spikes for our tent. So I got some tent spikes to kind of keep that down. Tomorrow I have to pick up tables at the cottage and the tablecloths and our signage and all that kind of stuff. So I got a lot of stuff to do yet tonight. Maybe tomorrow morning, we'll see. I'm supposed to be there to set up at 10. Thankfully, the whole thing doesn't start until noon. This is not a very early start market kind of thing. So it's noon to 6 tomorrow in Johnstown, and that's Pride. If anybody's wondering, what am I talking about? What is Suzanne talking about? So I have to be there at 10 to set up. And so 10 to noon will give me time to set up. If I can get up to the cottage a little bit earlier and then run up to the store quickly and then head on over. I don't know what the parking situation is going to be like. So I want to pack up. I was going to take some big tables, but I think I'm going to take our smaller tables and use those instead because they can fit in our little rolly carts we have. And I can take the rolly carts and I can roll them around and I can get myself set up that way if I need to. So that's kind of what I'm looking at doing. We'll see how it all goes. I don't know yet if Andrew's going to be joining me up there. We'll see. We've talked about it a little bit. We're not sure if we can leave Tallulah by herself. She's been out of the bathroom because that's where we keep her usually overnight, keep all the kids overnight when they were in their surgeries. I don't know. Did we tell you yesterday she broke out of her carrier, completely broke out of her carrier? I don't know if we did the live after or before she did that. I think we did the live before. So she was in the bathroom and I went to feed her and maybe that was the day before. What day is today? No, we just had her done yesterday. I'm losing track, y'all. So she was in the bathroom in her carrier because we had her locked in there so she could rest, and because she was wild and she was trying to jump up on things and I went to feed her in the evening and I opened the door and she came running out and I'm like, how did you get out? And I went in there and the carrier is still completely locked, but somehow she forced her way out. So I relocked I was like, maybe this is easy. Maybe it's too easy. I relocked the carrier, closed the door, relocked it, and tried to open it myself, like pulling on the door, trying to pull up the top of the carrier because it locks on the top and the bottom with these plastic pegs, and they're like this long. And I could not get it open. So I have no idea how she got out. But we obviously found out that we can't put her in the carrier because she can get out of it. So yesterday we left her in the bathroom overnight. And we had her out in the house a little bit, just seeing how she does. And she was getting a little rambunctious. She was looking at things and looking like she was going to jump at things and trying to play. So we're like, we can't really have her overnight doing this. Andrew was up most of the night, but he had to work and couldn't be chasing her around. So we put her in the bathroom and she seemed to calm down. I heard her rustling in there a little bit, but she calmed down. And then this morning when I opened the door, she came out, and for a while she hid under the bed because I think she didn't want to go back in the bathroom. She was trying to hide from me and thought she was going to get in trouble for being out. And so I went and talked to her and let her know she's okay. She can come out and eat with her sisters and brothers. And she came downstairs and ate then. And she was very kind of slow moving this morning. And she kind of just laid on the stairs. So when I went to work, Andrew was still sleeping, but I felt like she was good enough that I could leave her out in the house and roam around. And she did. And she was pretty good, I guess. When Andrew got up, she was doing fine. And she's a tough one. She's actually bigger and kind of stronger than the other two anyway. Gertie and Idabelle are smaller than her. She's bigger. She seems more just developed as far as muscle-wise and all that. So I think she's doing well. She's sturdy. And she actually beats up on the boys sometimes. So she's definitely bigger. And I think that has a lot to do with it. She's getting around okay. We're keeping an eye on her, of course, but trying to let her, I think mental health is a big thing for physical health as well. So even in cats, we notice this when they're depressed, they seem to heal more slowly. They don't eat as well. They don't get around as much. So trying to keep her spirits higher without being too high that she wants to jump around and go wild is kind of the key. And that's what we're doing. So she is doing well. Thank you all for checking in on her. Anna is here. Hello, Anna. Kimberly says, hello, everyone. Let me switch profiles. All right. Anna says, it's humid and 83 today. Feels like 89. Extreme heat warning from tomorrow to 9 p.m. Sunday. Yeah, we don't have... Our heat is coming. We do have an extreme heat watch, I guess, until 3:30 a.m. Saturday. So this morning. So the heat today, I guess, was supposed to be hot. I don't know. Because tomorrow is supposed to be hotter, but and it's supposed to be full sun for like the next 5 days. But it's going to get up into the 90s here, and that is not necessarily fun if it's humid. As long as it's a drier heat, it's not too bad. But it was a little bit humid today, but it felt cooler today. So the humidity, I think, was down. We were at 75% humidity, so at least it's not in the, like 100% humidity, right? It rained a little bit today, but like I said, it was a little cooler. I was coming over the mountain. The mountain's always much cooler. When I was coming over, the car was registering 70 degrees out there, and it felt good. I had the windows down. Of course, it started raining, so the windows were up, and then it stopped raining, windows were down, and then it started raining, windows went up. But it was, it felt cool, and it felt nice and not so humid. So as long as tomorrow sticks with the humidity that it's saying, we're going to be in like 50 to 60% humidity. 86 is a high. That's not bad. That should make a really great Pride event, actually, with no rain. We're going to have our tent. I got to find the tent, but we should have our tent so that I don't get baked. And if Andrew comes with me, he doesn't get baked. And yeah, so I think it's going to be a really good day. If you're out in Johnstown tomorrow, if you're watching this from Johnstown or any of the area around Johnstown, I hope you'll come out to the Pride event and show your support for the LGBTQIA+ community. There are over 130 different booths Some of them are local businesses that are set up. Some of them are nonprofits. Some of them are vendors and small businesses. Some are restaurants and food. So it is going to be quite the thing. Some of them are in the park. Some of them are set up around the roadways and alleyways around the park. So it's really over 130. That's a big event. And the event is free to the public. So come on down. Our friends at Jada's Jazz Cafe are going to be right next to us. We're going to get to hang out all day. I talked with them a little bit today. They're excited to be hanging out together. I am going to have some of my pottery. I'm taking some of my pottery for sale, I think. I'm going to take some of Andrew's artwork, some of his enamel work. We're going to take some of our art pins and some of our button pins. We're going to have some gemstone necklaces and things like that, of course, and some of Andrew's ornaments. I have those ready to go. And then we're going to have a little table to also, I think, try to do make and takes. So I packed up some supplies as far as, beading wire and crimp pliers and crimp tubes. And we're going to have some check glass strands, some of the shorter check glass strands that we have, like Lucerna bicones in all different colors, and some of our other multicolor rainbow kind of coordinating check glass. We have some pride charms that we're going to have that we can put on the bracelets that people make. And hopefully I'll be able to do that even if I'm by myself. Hopefully I'll be able to make necklaces with people and also handle people buying things at the same time. We're gonna see how that all works out. But generally, people who are making things, there's a pause from when they start like actually picking their stuff out and then putting it on the wire, and it takes a while. So there should be time, I hope, in between if people want to buy stuff. The only thing would be is if I get a large amount of people who want to make their own thing, then we might have to do something about that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. This is our first time we're ever doing this. I don't know how busy it's going to be. I didn't get down to the Pride event until about 5 o'clock last year. So like between 5 and 6, which was the very end of it. And there weren't a ton of people walking around at that time, but I had heard earlier in the day that it was busier. So I am hopeful for a busy day, and I hope people like what we have. And if nothing else, they will learn that we are in Johnstown. We are part of the community, and hopefully we'll meet a lot of other LGBTQIA plus queer people who are, wanting to make things and want to come up and learn what we're all about. And that would be really cool. So that's what we're hopeful for. And I hope it's just a good time. It's always good when you hang out with, your community. And we don't get, I don't want to get too into all of this, right? But there's not a lot of, around this area, there's not always a huge chance to have large meetings of queer people. And especially growing up, I never really had that. I had my friends, and most of my friends ended up coming out afterwards. If we had known and been open to each other back then, it may have been kind of a different story, but I never had that kind of sense of community. And, when we both lived in New York, I know for me, it was nice to have more of our community around us. And while there are members of the queer community around here, it's not as, it's fewer and further between, finding those people and, being able to get together with people. So I am super excited just to go to this and set up and meet people and hang out with people and see what happens. So I think it's going to be a great time. Kimberly says, finally the chat loads back up. Nice. Vicky says 98 degrees right now. Oh my goodness. We are not there. And it says, oh, Pride. Awesome. Yes, it is. Hello, Mary Jane. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you here today. I know you've not been able to make it recently. Norma is here. Hello, Norma. Thank you for joining in today. Cynthia's here. Hello, Cynthia. Thank you for joining us again. Anna says, I'm so glad the girls are doing well. Yes, all the girls seem to be doing well. Ida Bell and Gertie especially, is like, feels fully fine. Ida Bell, she's a week behind Gertie, but she's doing really well. You would never tell. Like, we're still being ginger with them all as far as like picking them up. We're picking them up softly and not like grabbing them like we sometimes do and pulling them up to us. But everybody's getting a little bit more of a ginger attitude, right? But yeah, they're doing really well, and Tallulah seems to be following suit just fine. So we're happy about that. Let's see here. Sue says, OMG, I'm going to DC next week, and it's supposed to be in the triple digits. Next week, we are supposed to be in the 90s here. So that's fine. If the humidity stays low, that's fine. But if the humidity goes high, that's not so great. Vicky's so grateful for AC. I know we've had the AC on a lot. More than I would have liked at this time of the year, but it is what it is. Michelle is here. Hello, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. Norma says, oh, Susan, DC humidity is so miserable in the summer. I hope you don't have a lot outside to do. Anna says, our humidity is in the 70 to 80% range. I'm grateful for AC. Yeah, ours is today. Tomorrow, thankfully, what it's saying is in the 50s during the midpoint of the day, which I am thankful for. That should be fine, I hope. Suzanne says, it sounds very nice. I think it's going to be a nice event. I really do. Kimberly says, I hope you and Andrew set up tables of your art and, of course, beads. We are not. That's one thing. When we go to shows, we don't often set up a lot of tables of just beads. And that's one of those things. It is, we go back and forth on that. But generally, people at those kind of shows want things that they can take away. And taking away a string, if you're a beater and you come across us, that would be, a number one, right? But if you are just somebody who wants to buy things and have them done, that's why we're probably going to offer a little make and takes. But otherwise, we're going to have finished things. It is going to be art, and my pottery, Andrew's artwork, some of his polymer stuff probably. But we don't do a lot of trays of beads. And sometimes we've done that before, but we're not going to do a lot of that. We're going to have, like I said, I'm going to do more of the kind of pride-oriented, the rainbow-oriented kind of check glass stuff, and mostly have it whittled down to that, I think, to do make and takes with. And that way, it doesn't matter what age you are, it's good. If kids come in and they want to do it, the strands are $2 to like $5 a strand, and they can make a bracelet. If people want to get a little bit more creative, they can mix and match stuff. We're going to have some gemstone necklaces, kind of the ones that we get that are already on the silver that we talk about. It's already on the silver with the extender chain. And I have some of those ready to go. But we're not going to get too wild with everything, because our store is literally right in town, and a lot of these people will be around the area. I think the people who are visiting are going to be kind of in the area, so if they want to learn more, they can come up and see us and see all that we have. But we do want to give kind of takeaway stuff, things people can buy and take away at price points that are good for festivals. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, and I think it's going to be good. It's going to be what it's going to be. We've never done this before, so we have no real way to gauge what the clientele is going to be, what people are going to want. But we got a lot of pride charms, and we got a lot of colorful check glass, and people want to make things. That's our main thing. That's what we're trying to get people to do, is come up and make things in Johnstown. So I think that's going to be where we're going to focus, as well as having art and stuff. So we'll have kind of, I think, an L-shaped setup is my idea. And the front table will be the stuff for sale, and then the side table that we'll have going down will kind of be for people who want to kind of make stuff and just hang out and make their own stuff. They can sit at the table and design and make stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Kim says, oh, you just answered that, right? Yep. I answered it again, right? That's okay. Susan says, I am going to do congressional visits on one of the days for a cancer group I volunteer with. So I'll have to walk around a bit that day. Oh boy, that's going to be a warm day. Anna says, I'm so glad that Johnstown has a Pride event. We are too, and it's quite an event. Like I said, it is a 6-hour event. There's 130 some places, like I said, between restaurants, nonprofits, local businesses, small businesses, and small crafters. There's gonna be 130 some different stops you can go to. So that's amazing. I think, you know, that's a true festival. Like, that's really a nice thing. So I'm excited for it. Hello, Harry. Thank you for joining us. Mary Jane says, will you be going live or posting videos? It depends how busy it is. I have some battery packs. I have to make sure I charge my battery packs because my phone is going to be the primary way of taking, money, I think. They have the new tap on the phone. So it's going to be that. And I have to make sure my phone does not always last all day. So it really depends how busy it is. How much phone juice I've got and can spend. Between those two things, we'll see. If nothing else, I will try and take some videos and some photos throughout the day and post them as a wrap up maybe at the end. So we'll see how it goes. Mary Jane says, I watch at work, but then everything I like is gone. I know you say that. So I'm glad you could join us live tonight. We're going to have some good stuff, I think, tonight. I think we're going to do kind of a mix and match thing, maybe. Depends when Andrew gets up here and if he can help much or what we're going to do. But I still have some boxes of stuff beside me. I'm going to pick some stuff. We'll show some stuff, maybe mix and match some stuff. I like the mix and match because it puts more things out on the table at once. And you can kind of get an idea of how you might use it. I think that's really important because sometimes when people look at the things we have, they don't see how it can be used right away. And I love when you all input or give your input and we can come up with different ways of using things. Like yesterday, a lot of you were giving colors and things that I wouldn't have thought to use, right? And they worked out really well. So that's what I like. You don't get just like our viewpoint. You all can pitch in and also give your viewpoint on things. Let's see. Donna is here. Hello, Donna. Thank you for joining us. And I hope everybody's doing well out there. It's been a busy day for me because I've been getting ready for this. My mom came up today and visited a little bit at the store. That was really, really nice. It was good to see her and hang out for a little bit. She's trying to get some mowing done before she is going to a baseball tournament for my nephew. It's the last tournament, and I guess it's the last tournament of the year, and so she wants to go to it, and it's out near Pittsburgh way. So she's a little bit further away. So it's a little bit. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours for her to get there and get settled in, I think. So she's going to that, and there are 2 different games that day, and then she's going to come back, and she might come up and visit us at Pride then, if she gets back and isn't too worn out, and if all goes well as far as the timing and how she thinks things are going to work out. So that'll be nice. But she came up today anyway to say hi and just chat a little bit. And she's trying to get some mowing done, but it's been raining just enough that it keeps everything really wet. And she has about 3 acres that she has to mow. And she does have a riding lawnmower at least. And but it's still very hard to mow all that when it's wet. It's hard to mow the grass when it's wet. It's hard on the mower. It's hard on the blades. And it can get caught up and stall the mower and all that. So she's trying to do all that. And she was just talking about, it's like, when do you actually do all of this stuff? Like, she has the games with the kids, and my nephew may be in a championship. They form these after the tournaments happen, I guess. They form these kind of championship teams, and then they do even more sometimes. But I guess the school that he's in, which is the school I went to growing up, United, they don't know if they have enough kids to form a championship team yet. Only a few kids have signed up for it. So maybe there won't be kids around. It's during the summer, and sometimes people go places. So this might be the last game anyway. So that's why she's going to that. And but yeah, that was a nice thing. But then I was mostly today trying to figure out what we're going to do pull some things from the shelves and figure out what we're going to do for the event tomorrow. And I still have to unpack the car so that I can pack the car up. Gotta unpack the van. We still have stuff in it from before, so I have to unpack that tonight or tomorrow morning, but probably tonight is best if it's not going to rain. We'll see. And unpack it a little bit up into the cottage, and then get the stuff together that I want at the cottage tonight. And I'd like to try and get it tonight so that if I forget anything on my way in the morning, I can grab whatever. I make a list of anything I forgot, because if I wait until morning, I will inevitably get to Johnstown and be like, oh, I forgot this, I forgot that, I forgot this. So I'd like to pack up some tonight. So probably after the live tonight, I'll be running up to the cottage to unpack the van and pack up the things that I want to take to the show tomorrow and get that packed into the van in our little carts that we have, our little rolly carts. And yeah, so that's the rest of my day and evening. And it's probably going to be a late one tonight for me, and I got to be up early, but we'll see how it goes. And Andrew may or may not be able to help depending on what all he's getting into tonight and how much he has going on. So we'll see. And if he'll be up there with me, I hope he's able to make it tomorrow. I think Tallulah would be okay for a few hours by herself, even if we have to put her in the bathroom maybe, or she seems okay in the house. We're kind of giving her this test day today while he's been around to see how she does in the house by herself. And if she's okay, Andrew can come up with me, hopefully. And because I think, the whole idea is it's Pride. And I think it would be really good for people to see us both together, and know that, we're a queer couple who owns the store, and there are actually two of us, right? And one of us is BIPOC, which is a whole other thing too. So I think it would be really good if everybody could see us both. So we'll see how things go, and if he's able to. And it would also make things easier as far as make and takes and all of that if there are two of us to handle sales and making and all of that, And this is Mix and Match is a great way to show your items. I think so. I think it works really well. I didn't label this broadcast as Mix and Match. I just said Allegory Gallery Live because I wasn't sure if I'm going to get into a mix and match tonight, but I think we will. I like doing it. I actually prefer it to the other way. The other way might be a little faster sometimes, maybe, but I really like the mix and match because, like I said, I like the ideas you all give. And I like to see how they play off of the ideas that we have and how all of your ideas play together. And it gives me inspiration. Like there are some things that have not sold that I'm like, now I have ideas. Now I have ideas of things maybe I want to make. So we'll see. And I really need to start making more things. That's another goal for me, but that'll come down the line, a little bit down the line. So how have you all been? What's going on with all of you out there tonight? Have you been busy? Do you have plans for the weekend? We have Pride, and then on Sunday, the executive director of Contemporary Craft and her wife have invited us to a Pride party at their place in Pittsburgh. So we're deciding whether I should open the store or if we should both go to that. I would really like us both to go to that. I hate to not have the store open the day after Pride, because if we meet a bunch of people and they want to come up, there's a better chance they might come up then. So I don't know. We'll see how Pride goes and kind of see if if we feel like we should close the store on Sunday, then if we get a lot of people talking about how they want to come up and, kind of do things the next day, then maybe I'll open the store. So that's kind of up in the air for us. I'd love to have everything planned out, right? But it doesn't always happen that way. So we might be closing the store on Sunday as well. We're definitely going to be closing the store tomorrow. We had thought about maybe one of us staying in the store and one of us going down to Pride, but I think it would be best if we just close the store and both show up at Pride if we're able to do that. Like I said, it'd be nice for our community to meet both of us and know that we're here and we're there, because we're in Ligonier now, but know that we're in Johnstown and what we do and who we are. So that's that. But how about all of you out there? Anybody have any plans? Donna says, not much, just trying to get housework done early in the day so the heat doesn't get to me. 4 more weeks until my next show, so I'm making a few new things. That's good. What kind of things what kind of things do you find that work for you in a show? What do you sell the most of? Bracelets, necklaces, earrings? What do you focus on most? And this goes out to anybody who is watching. If you do shows and things, what do you find people generally buy the most of when you're there? Is it necklaces, bracelets, earrings, or something different? Suzanne's prepping the kitchen for painting. Still prepping the kitchen for painting. How much more prep work do you have? When do you think you'll be able to do the painting work? Is it soon? Are you getting close? I know the prep work is a lot, right? When you're painting something, a lot of times the prep work can be a lot. When we were doing things at the store, it took a lot. First we had to take down a bunch of shelves and stuff, which was hard as it was. But we had some nice big open walls at least. We didn't have to do so much prep work. But taping things off and sometimes peeling off old paint or using stuff to get off old paint. That's a pain. That's a pain in the butt. Anna says, earrings are the best seller for sure. See, that's so strange. Like, I feel like we don't sell a lot of earrings. I guess we don't always focus on them, but when we were, I guess it depends what you have, right? When we do shows recently, we've been doing a lot of artwork and the enamel pendants and things, and we have some enamel earrings, and we did bring some gemstone earrings and stuff to the one holiday show that we do, and we sold 1 pair of those, I think. But earrings, I don't know why earrings don't seem to be a huge seller, but we don't do a ton of shows. So I will say earrings in the store, out of all of those things, are definitely the biggest seller, for sure. Let's see here. Suzanne says, hopefully this week. My husband is very thorough. Good. Donna says, mostly necklace and earring sets. So you sell them in sets and you find that works for you. Plus a lot of earrings. If they don't want the earrings, I give them a $5 discount on the necklace. That's nice. That's a good deal. I don't really work in sets, I guess, but that's probably a good thing to think about. And that's interesting. So the necklace and earring sets. Hello, Teresa. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Hello, Joyce. Says hello. Thank you for joining in. Good to see you here. Says hello from the California desert. I'm trying to get my fusing kill loaded to fire tonight. Ooh, nice. That's awesome. What kinds of what kinds of things are you making? What are you making? Kimberly says also mostly earrings, but I seem to be making more bracelets and necklaces lately. That's the thing for me, right? I do have, when I make stuff, I know in the store that earrings sell the most, and we do have a good number of earrings already made. And I think that's kind of why I started making a bunch of earrings at one point, and I did. But then I moved on to doing more bracelets and things, and I like the bracelet work. But I want to start playing around with making my earrings a little bit more adventurous. I kind of just do pretty simple earrings, like just a simple gemstone or a little mix of gemstones or check glass. But some of y'all make some fantastic earrings, and I need to up my game because I see all of yours out there, and I know I need to up my game on my earrings. So that might be something. It's not going to happen for tomorrow's show, though. That's not. I got enough to do other than make more earrings tonight. Let's see here. Donna says the bracelets are not selling as well as they used to. That's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't actually pack any bracelets on the table, but I figured we would make bracelets. That's what the whole make and take is mostly going to be geared toward, people making bracelets. Because I think like we have a bunch of pride charms, and I think making little bracelets with those charms would be cute. Or anklets, if people want to do anklets. That's kind of the same size, kind of. But I think making necklaces will take people a long time, and when there's 130 vendors around, I don't think people are going to want to sit too long to make anything. So a nice quick bracelet I think could be nice. I might grab some head pins now that I'm thinking about it. Now that people are talking more about it, and may grab some head pins and have the ability to make quick earrings too. We'll see. I don't know. That's an idea. I might have to see about that. I don't know. Mary Jane's gonna be right back. Alrighty. Donna says I've always done that for some reason, making the sets. That's good. That's good. If it works for you, keep doing it, right? Anna says I like to offer coordinates versus sets. Yeah, I think that's more what we gear toward in the store too. If somebody buys a necklace and they want earrings, we don't, and we do, I shouldn't say, we do get a lot of actual requests for that. And when people buy necklaces, they assume we're going to have earrings to match. I do get that quite a bit, actually. But we're always gearing them toward coordinating rather than a matched set. Because we just don't do match sets very often. But it does also kind of forces people into being a little more creative. And, we always like to instigate creativity, and we'll put it that way. We like to instigate creativity where we can. So sometimes that is not having a match set and just going a little wild with coordinating. Donna says, all of mine are memory wire bracelets, nothing fancy either. Yeah, I asked Andrew if he thinks we should do stretch bracelets for the make and take because they'd be quicker. But he really didn't want to do that. And I really didn't want to do that either. I just was concerned about, time and coverage of everything. But I think that having people do a crimping exercise, or at least seeing us do it if they don't want to do it, kind of gives them an idea of more of what we're about than just making a stretch bracelet, right? So I think that's a good idea, and I think that's what we're going to do. I thought about memory wire too. We don't work a lot in memory wire, but that could be an idea. But I think that's the same kind of thing. There's a little bit more maybe to memory wire sometimes than just a stretch bracelet. But at the same point, I think I want people to experience how we put things together, and maybe get them pique their interests a little more. The more techniques you can show someone, sometimes you never know when that piqued interest is going to hit. But we're totally doing something different. Obviously, we're not selling pre-made things necessarily. We're trying to engage people in creating. Whereas when you're at a show, most of you just want people to buy the stuff, right? not necessarily take a class with you, right? Although some of you probably do. So yeah. Suzanne says, money isn't as free as it was. No, it is not. Not for anyone. Not for anyone. But I'm hoping that people are going to be more generous since they're going to a festival. That is one of those things that, having a reason to go somewhere, supporting the community. It's going to be a big community of queer people, LGBTQI plus, and allies, and I do hope that people are supportive. And there are lots of ways to support, of course, but I do hope that people decide if they see something they like. Hopefully, people will be more willing to buy it, going to something like this. Michelle says, I think I sell necklaces more. That's it used to be, I think, earrings were the best seller in our store when we were in Ligonier, then necklaces, then bracelets. But we also didn't focus on bracelets a lot. And now I feel like in Johnstown, people are buying earrings, but more often people are looking for bracelets. And I always tell people that we don't always make a lot of bracelets because bracelets are one of those things. They're one of the few things that have to be sized perfectly for someone. I always say, like, if you're going to wear a necklace, if it ends up here or here or here, it's people are willing to, give or take a little bit on a necklace most of the time. On a bracelet, if it's too loose, that's a big no. If it's too tight, that's a big no. People, for when things are on your arms, people are very specific generally about how they like to wear stuff. And people will say that they're not. Right? They'll say, oh, it's okay. It can be looser. It can be tighter until they put them on. And then they're like, oh, maybe not, and we find that a lot. But we do have more requests, I think, for bracelets than anything in the Johnstown store so far. We don't have a lot of people coming in for stuff yet, but out of the people who have, many, many more people have asked for bracelets than anything. Let's see here. Whoops. Sorry, my comment skipped. Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Angela says, I'm here, but walking into the sunset. Walking into the sunset? Where are you going? Joy says, I'm making plates, wall pieces, and coasters. I need to make more jewelry, earrings for sure. Not doing so many shows these days. I have to pick and choose carefully. I get that. We don't really, the show thing is something that we're trying to add more of to our repertoire, especially since we're kind of new in Johnstown. So we're trying to find places around there that are doing shows, and we're trying to get ourselves into more of those. But it's not an easy thing for us because we're not used to doing them. I think shows are one of those things that if you do a lot of them, they become easier, right? You have a set, you have a pack, you're ready to go. Like every time we do a show, I feel like, we're getting a little bit better every time, but, we tend to, we have a show set and then we could use that in the store. Or we steal a little bit of furniture here, or we pull this from that, or, things get separated, or we use the carts for something else. And so it's like every time we do a show, it's like setting up all over again. And so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But, I keep telling myself this is supposed to be fun. This is meeting our community. This is hanging out with our community. It's supposed to be something that, we hope to make some money. Obviously, that's one of the big points of doing it. But we really want to meet people. We want to have fun with people, and we want to get to know the queer community in Johnstown. So Pride is a great way to do that. So I'm hoping that, I'm trying to keep it off my brain. I got into a point today where I started getting very anxious about everything. And then I had to stop and breathe and tell myself, right, that this is supposed to be fun, right? This whole life we do this because we enjoy it. And sometimes the work and the money stress and the work stress and the anxiety I have anyway makes things less than fun. And not that, everything has to be fun in life, right? But you hope the things you do and the things you decide to do and the work you choose and the work you do, you hope it's fun. And when you own your own business, you really, you know, hope it's fun because you chose that. You really chose that. Um, so I'm trying to keep myself, and everything's going to work out. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. I've always, I don't talk about it very much, but I've always had a bit of that internalized homophobia in myself. And I'm just starting to admit that and come to terms with some of that. I had to hide who I was for a long time. I got made fun of even before I came out. So it already put that against me in my own brain that there was something wrong with me. So it was very hard for me. And even when I started coming out more and more in various ways, sometimes it embarrassed my friends, and I could see that in them. And even if they were also gay, sometimes I was a little over the top. So I would, a lot of times reel that back because some people would make comments, some people you could just tell, or get that feeling, or I got that feeling, even maybe they weren't giving it off, but I felt that way because of, how I felt about things. And I was unsure of myself. So for me, I am trying to kind of come at this as a way for me to open up more and kind of be one of, get to know our community and just kind of see who's out there and kind of give myself permission to find myself again in that way. Because there was a point in my life where being gay I made it a big part of my personality. And not that I made it a big part of my personality, I allowed it to shine through, is the better way to put that. I was more comfortable with it. And it was mostly in college. And I kind of became more of myself. And then as I moved to New York and I kind of reeled it back in some ways because New York was a big shock and a big change, right? It was very different from where I'd grown up. And what do you do when you're, coming towards something that's so different? Oftentimes you pull back to protect yourself. And so I pulled back on a lot. So that's one of those things that I'm still working through and still finding myself through. And I think, for a long time, I made myself feel bad because I hadn't gotten there yet, right? I hadn't, or I closed myself off at a time when I had started to make more progress. But I think that's how, no matter who you are, I think in a lot of times, a lot of people, I think, do that, right? We do things to fit in socially. We do things to fit in at work. And, and that's, I see so many people who they get in their 50s, 60s, 70s, retirement age, and they finally like blossom. And I see that a lot, and I'm grateful for people who do that and allow other people to see that, because that shows me that, we may be struggling in different ways in finding ourselves and why we're trying to find ourselves. And for me, it's being queer or being gay. For others, whatever it is, we all have a lot of commonality. And I think that's really important to see that there's more in common with people than not. And anyway, this is my chance, one of my, it's not like this is the only chance, but this is a big chance for me just to meet people right locally with us who feel possibly this same way, or who are going through this. And what I really love is, because there's no age range to this, right? To being queer, being gay, LGBTQI+, you can be inspired by anyone. You can be inspired by those who came before you. You can be inspired by those who are brave, who are younger than you. You can be inspired by people your own age who have similar stories or dissimilar stories. And that's what I really, anytime I'm at an event, at a queer event, or around this community, I just find so much inspiration from everyone. Um, no matter what point of the journey they're in, because I know the strength it took me to come to terms as far as I have. And just to hear stories and see people who are, some are more reserved and some are not, but it's everyone has their own personal story and their own personal thing. And I think it's such a cool thing. I think it's really inspiring. And I love inspiring people, whether it's people making things or people being who they are. And I'm excited. So that's, I got to a point today where I was starting to get very anxious. And then I tried to, think through it like this. This is kind of my thought process. And I'm like, this is what it's supposed to be. This is what it's about, is growing and sharing and meeting people. And if people want to buy things from us, that's great. That's, we hope that happens. But also making connections and being able to share our stories with people who understand them is very, very, very important too. Anyway, that went longer than I thought. Susie says, I almost never make match sets. Yeah, I don't really either. And Andrew doesn't a lot either. Anna says, oh, I like that statement. Instigate creativity, right? That just rolled off my tongue. I don't know where that came from, but that's kind of exactly what I was feeling. Like, we love to instigate creativity wherever we can. And I think that's fun. Maybe I need to make a mug, instigate creativity where you can, or something like that. Kimberly says the AG art is fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Susie says, I like ankle bracelets in the summer. Yeah, I haven't thought about ankle bracelets much, but more and more people in our area here now are talking about wearing ankle bracelets again. It's coming back around, apparently. We've gotten more and more young people looking to make ankle bracelets in the store. When we've had some of our classes come in, some of the young people there were making ankle bracelets. So it's definitely something that, growing up in the 80s and 90s, especially the 80s, I would say, like late 80s, ankle bracelets were a thing. And maybe, probably early 90s too. And now I think that's coming back around, which I really, really enjoy. Oops, everything just jumped. Donna says, the size issue with the bracelets is why I don't use stretchy cord anymore. See, that's I don't know, I guess most of the time stretchy cord stretches pretty well enough. And that's what most people expect when they look at bracelets. A lot of people expect to come in and find us having stretchy cord bracelets. And we're like, we don't really. I just don't. I'm not a fan of them because people take them and in a few weeks, they'll wear them, in the shower or in the pool, or they pull them on instead of rolling them on, and they come back to us with broken pieces and we have to fix them. We don't have to fix them, but we do fix them, of course, or we try to teach them how to fix them. But most of the time they just want them fixed. Want them to be fixed. But yeah, so most of the time we do made, with a toggle, and those are the kind of bracelets we tend to sell. So he says, I think people want bracelets because they're usually less expensive. Maybe, and that could be part of it too, possibly, for why people are requesting more bracelets. But I think bracelets are really big right now. Stacking them, multiple layers of bracelets, different kinds, longer bracelets. I think bracelets are just a thing that is very much in the minds of people right now too. But you're right. They're generally less expensive than a full necklace. Andrew says, we used to sell rings a lot, particularly for festivals. Yeah, I forgot about that. We have not had as many rings lately, but we did used to make and sell a lot of rings. Whether we buy them in or whether Andrew would be making them, we used to sell a lot of those at places like that. Hello, Andrew, by the way. What are you doing down there? Sue says, but using memory wire for bracelets makes it looks like you have a huge stack of them. It's kind of fun, but I find memory wire to be really stiff. Yeah, I have a hard time with memory wire because I feel like memory wire, like I like the way a bracelet drapes. And when I'm wearing memory wire, inevitably, I don't know why, but it feels like it pinches me like here, but not here, you know, because your wrist is wider than it is thick. And I feel like with memory wire, I have that. I'm very picky with my bracelets too. I'm not saying I'm not. When I mentioned that the people like them one way or another, like a certain way, I'm one of those people. I feel like I have a hard time if my bracelets aren't just right. And so memory wire is one that's harder for me. I feel like it gets stuck, or else it's too loose. It's either tight or it's too loose. Anyway, yeah. But it is cool because it does look like, you can make it look like a bunch of bracelets together, especially if you string them or wire them, whatever you want to call that, to make them look like multiple different kinds of bracelets, right? You can use the same thing of wire, but just do different designs as you go along so that when they do come together, they look like different kinds of bracelets, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's not as, for me, I like, that's why I'm glad that I make my own, because I can get them the right size. Michelle says, I saved my memory wire for Kumihimo candy canes. I've never done Kumihimo candy canes. I'm trying to think I don't know what that is. Do I? Joyce says, the best part for me is seeing friends and hopefully making some money. And the anxiety is real though. Yes, it certainly is real, right? Yeah, it is. Anxiety is a thing of life for me, and I've come to just know that I am an anxious person. I am trying to portray myself in my own mind as not being as anxious, and trying to get, you probably notice I talk a little bit less about it than I used to. I'm trying to not talk as much about it, because I find that when you talk about things, they become real, right? That's putting your voice to make things happen, and the whole idea of manifestation and all that. So while I know I am an anxious person, I am trying to talk myself less into that, and more that it is something I can handle. It is something that I can work with. It is something that is kind of, can be a good thing depending on the situation. And hopefully someday come to terms with it and let it go, right? We'll see if that ever happens. But that's what they say anyway. That's what I choose to believe, because I choose to believe that we do have power over ourselves to some extent, hopefully to more extent than we all realize most of the time. Susan says, it shouldn't be so hard to be yourself. It shouldn't, right? For anybody. But I think in a lot of times, and for a lot of people, it is. It's hard to be yourself. Until you get to a point where you just don't care, right? And I think that happens to a lot of people sometimes. People tell me 40s and 50s are a good time for that, and I'm halfway through my 40s, and I'm starting to see that. So I'm working on that. But life is short, and not being who you feel you are makes it less fun, less pleasurable. And I think life is supposed to be good for people. I really do. I think life is supposed to be good. We come here to enjoy ourselves, and that's what I wish for everybody, to be able to enjoy your life. And yeah, it shouldn't be hard to be yourself, but fortunately, sometimes it is. And this is, finding your community is so freeing, and that's a big part of it, right? Being able to be yourself often depends, a lot of times, it should just depend on you, right? But it often depends on the community around you. And if you can find your own community and make yourself a part of something that you believe in, I think it makes it much easier to be who you are. And I think that's very important too. When I was in college, my friends were very much um, okay with me being who I was. And before I pulled back, when I went to New York, like I said, that was a protection thing because it was so very different. And um, but you also change over time, right? I don't know that the person I was in college is the real person that I want to be. Um, and so that's also the other thing, right? We go through phases in life sometimes, and we try different things, and some things resonate, some things don't. Sometimes we cover things up that resonate, and we find them again later. Sometimes we find that we weren't covering them up, we were just changing. And so I think discovering yourself is a lifelong process. But I admire people who live who they are fully, whoever they are at the moment. That's what I admire a lot. Um, yeah, anyway. Let's see here. Ba-ba-ba. Oops, my comments really jumped. Anna says, also know that there's at least one other person there who is feeling the same bit of anxiety. Yeah, and I feel bad for that person. I feel bad for the person who's feeling the kind of anxiety that I feel. I would not wish this on people. Just being able to be calm and live your life and do things without 50 million questions in your head about each choice you make. I don't wish that on people, but and I try, like I said, I try not to take too much comfort in knowing that there are other people like me like that, because I would rather us all not have to deal with that. And that's the whole thing about thinking those good thoughts and being like, we're all getting through this together. We're not doing this today, right? Joyce says, happy Pride, have a great show. Thank you so much, Joyce. I'm so glad you've been here today. I don't know if you're still here, if you're hanging out with us, or if you have to go, but thank you so much. Or if you've already gone, sorry. I'm very much behind in the comments. Norma says, I just made my first ankle bracelet and I love it. I've never made or worn them before. I haven't either. I've helped people make them, but I've never actually worn one. And I wear Crocs now in the summer, and I could wear ankle bracelets. So maybe I will make some for myself. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I feel like the person I am needs to be the person who wears more jewelry than I do. And I was thinking about this the other day too, because I don't wear a lot. Obviously, like most of the time y'all see me, I don't have much on. But in my mind, the whole reason I really like what we do is because I love jewelry. I like the idea of wearing it. Sometimes I have a problem with things on me, but I think that's because I haven't worn things much. Like for a long time, I resisted wearing a watch because it felt like I felt it there, right? And when I was in college, I had a nice watch that I would wear that my grandmother got me, and I wore it very loose. And then I got an Apple Watch, and it needed to take your heart rate, and it needed to be tight. And it took me so long to get used to it. But once I did, I barely realized it was there anymore. Like I'd get in the shower and forget that I had it on. So I do think that, you know, just wearing it and getting used to wearing stuff. But I feel like I need to make more things and wear more things. I mean, we're a bead shop. People ask me what we do, and we describe it to them because I don't wear the stuff. Like I could be like, oh, we do things like this and 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 like this, but I don't do that. So I think I need to do that a little bit more. And I'm excited for you, Norma, that you're doing something new and that you love it. And I love that for you. I think that's awesome. I think we should all keep expanding and doing new things like that. Suzanne says, I like faux bakelite bangles you have at the shop. Thank you. I do too. I like those a lot. Maybe I'll pack some of those up. We'll see. And Angela says, I think people like them because they can see them on themselves. That's another good point. Rings and bracelets you can see on yourself, right? Earrings and necklaces, you need a mirror, and you're not carrying that around all the time. But I get that. I think that's one of the reasons I like wearing longer necklaces, because I can look down and I can see it. Yeah, that makes sense. Good point, Angela. Andrew's sitting with Tallulah. She wants to be in the middle of it. I bet she does. I bet she does. Terry says, I like the wrap bracelets. Love the one I bought from you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. I like making them, and I like, because in my mind, when I am a person who wears jewelry, I'm a person who wears a lot. Like, I feel like I would have like layers and layers of necklaces and layers of bracelets, lots of rings. Like, it doesn't seem like me because I never do that. But in my mind, my final form has always been somebody, and that's why I like what we do, because we deal with gemstones, and I've always been somebody who wanted to be somebody with lots of rings and jewelry, and when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a hippie with all the kinds of jewelry and all that, and then yeah, and I just I don't do it, but I need to do it. And I like the layered look of the wrap bracelets. And I think that's why I make the 3 and 4 wrap bracelets, because it gives that multiple bracelet look. And they're fun to make. Sandra's here. Hello, Sandra. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Amanda's here. Hello, Amanda. Thank you for joining us. Michelle says, I'll share a pic in the Triers. Please do. My group, the Triers. Dominion's here. Hello. Says, you're a calm and thoughtful person, William, sometimes. Ask Andrew, though. That I'm not always calm, not always thoughtful. A lot of times my brain is a hurried, racing mess. But, I can get into subjects sometimes like this and get a little bit deep. And that's, I think, when I'm at my best. Because I think a lot about these things, but I don't always talk about them. And when I'm able to get into a little bit of a deeper conversation, that's when I'm at my best. It's when I'm surface talking. I have no idea what to talk about. I am terrible at, I shouldn't say that about myself. Remember, putting out good vibes. But I am right now, at this moment, not great at surface conversation and that kind of talk. I'm not, Andrew, great at it. He can come up with things to say to people. He asks questions about people. I just kind of, like talk about the weather and then don't know what to say. But if you get me into a deeper conversation, then you probably will get tired of me, because I can talk a lot and ask a lot of questions. And but I think that's good. I've always been better at kind of that one-on-one kind of thing with somebody that is like-minded. I think we all probably are. Maybe some people don't like that. Some people would rather stay surface talk. But yeah, Norma says, yes, Michelle, share a pic. I'm intrigued. Yes, please do. Sandra went out to the garden today and got 2 peppers, about 20 green beans, and a tomato. That's awesome. It's great to be able to get those things, right? Right from your own garden. Right from your own garden. I miss a garden sometimes, but it's a lot of work, as you're probably seeing. It's a lot of work. Sandra says, who knew gardening would make me so happy? Yeah, some people find a lot of joy in that work, but it is a lot of work in addition to everything else. If you have a smaller one, it's not always too bad. But we tend to like make a garden, and then we got to stake the tomatoes, and then you got to stake the peppers, and then you got to, put the trellis up for the green beans, and we always tend to go about it kind of hardcore. Really, we should probably just dig up some ground, throw some seeds in the ground, and let happens what happens, and then we get what we get. But we always make it a harder probably than it needs to be. Tallulah is trying to warm the hearts and nest on them. Oh, Andrew's trying to finish his hearts. And so Tallulah is trying to keep them warm and nest on them, which is fun. She does like to be creative. I think. Dominion says, "Oh, ha, me as well. I guess sometimes more than others." Yeah, that crazy, frantic energy can be interesting, right? Sounds delicious, says Amanda to Sandra. Gardening is freeing and grounding. It definitely can be, Teresa. Definitely can be. Amanda says, I tried Crocs once. I tripped and decided they weren't for me. You know, a lot of people, so Crocs have this, they're shoes. If you don't know what Crocs are, they're those shoes with the holes in them that a lot of people wear. They have this band that goes to the front or to the back. It flips back and forth. And most people that I see wearing Crocs flip the band to the front, and they wear them kind of like a slide-in shoe, like a, I don't know, like a clog or something maybe, where they've no, like they just slide their foot in. I can't wear shoes like that. My feet like try to clench onto the shoe when I'm walking in order to hold it in place. Um, and I don't know. Maybe I walk funny. I don't know. Maybe I do take long strides, and maybe that's why I have to hold my shoe on. But I cannot. Like it's also when I'm wearing what do they call them? Um, like sandals of any sort. Um, I do the same thing with those. I slide my foot in, but then I have to like grip down to keep them from falling off. I don't know if most people do that, but it wears my foot out. I get worn out wearing them. So I wear the Crocs with the little flip thing down on the back of my heel, so it keeps the shoe on. And then I don't feel like I trip as much or have the possibility of tripping so much. So I don't know how you put them on, Amanda. Maybe you had them on where the thing was around your heel and it was holding it on and you still tripped, and that's fine. But if you put them to the front and you just slid your foot in, I could see why people trip on that, because that's not for me. But they are super comfortable. You know, when they first came out, I think we were still in New York when they first came out, and I was like kind of anti-Crocs because I was very into, you know, like fancy clothes and dress shoes and all that. And I wore some of the most uncomfortable shoes for the look of it. But I was also younger, and it was fine, and I could do it for the night. I was also usually going out and drinking and dancing, and you felt no pain after some of that. But now I get it. They're super comfortable. They're like this thick, and they're cushiony, and they are wonderful. And if you're standing on concrete all day, they are a great thing to have. So now I wear them, and yeah. Anyway, that's my story with Crocs. Hello, Anne. Thank you for joining us. Um, right now, I'm learning how to make beaded flowers and leaves, says Michelle. Nice. Sarah Brim is with us. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you here. How are you doing out there in Facebook land? I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since we've seen you around. Amanda's also saying, please show us your creations, Michelle. Sandra says, I saw baby cucumbers starting to form. I need some stakes and trellis for the cucumbers and green beans. Yeah, cucumbers can grow on the ground. I think my grandmother always grew cucumbers on the ground, so you don't really need too much for those if you don't want to. Zucchini are the same thing. If you want, you can pick them up and put them on stones like watermelons, but you don't really need to. From what I've seen, they can grow on the ground. Although you're in container gardens, though, right? Yeah, you don't want them necessarily hanging because the weight of them might be not great. But if they're in the ground, they can grow on the ground. But they spread. We had some zucchini and cucumber, and we underestimated the spread of those plants, and they will take up space. But you can get a lot from like 1 or 2 zucchini and cucumber plants. It's kind of amazing. Anne says, Birkenstocks are my shoes of choice. And I do grip with my toes, but I love backless shoes. I've been able to slip them on. I love being able to slip them on. I don't really think about the gripping. That's all I can think about. Like maybe that's the thing. Probably everyone has to grip them to hold them on, right? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe some people, I don't know. Depends on how your foot fits maybe. But all I can think about is having to grip so they don't fly off my feet when I walk. And I do walk fast, and I do take big strides. So that could be part of it too. Probably if I walked slower and just, casually walked instead of like my power walking that I always do. They talk about that as a stereotypical gay trait, the gay power walk. But and I do that. But I can't not think about it. And then it makes my foot hurt from gripping on the shoes. And all I can think about is that, or I'm going to lose my shoe and I'm not comfortable the entire time I'm wearing them. So Crocs have been lovely because they kind of give you that slip-on feel, but they do have a little bit of hold to them. But I've never had Birkenstocks. I think Andrew has a pair of Birkenstocks now that he got that he's trying to break in. I don't think he's broken them in yet. Amanda says, I like Birkenstocks, Viking, similar to Birks, but more cushiony, and sneakers, mostly sneakers. Anne says, I'll have to check out Viking, Amanda. Amanda says, I do prefer my Vikings at the moment. Nice. All right, y'all. We've been talking a lot about a lot of things, but we haven't been talking about showing you beads. So let's flip this camera around. I was seeing if Andrew, how he's coming with his, I'm turning on the air because it's getting hot in here, seeing how he was coming with his hearts, but it looks like Tallulah is pausing some of his progress. So I don't know when he'll be up here with me to help me out with this, but we're going to do a little bit of a mix and match show. So thank you all for hanging out with us, and let me flip this camera around. What do y'all want to start with today? Do you have any, like I said, this works a lot better if y'all help us out, and you're all pretty talkative today, so I appreciate that. Let me know what y'all think you might want to start with today, whether it's a color, whether it's a stone, whether it's a material, and I'll see if I have it. I don't have the full power of Andrew's manifestation up here right now, but we'll see what happens. Anne asks, are the hearts possibly debuting tonight or no? I think that's a possibility. I think that was the plan. We'll see how they go. Amanda says, is Tallulah being extra cuddly? No. Tallulah is not a cuddly cat. I would love her to, we both would love her to be a cuddly cat, but she is not. She will cuddle you for about 2 minutes, and then she is ready to like dash off. She cannot be cooped up and cuddled like that. It's just not her way. All right. Let's start with this. These are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These are a higher end strand, but what the heck? Let's do it. We're going to do AGL lots tonight. So anybody who's new, let me put up the banner here. If you want to purchase from this video, take down the lot number. This is Allegory Gallery Live. That's what we're doing it. AGL1. Take down that lot number, put it in the subject line of an email, and send that email to info@allegorygallery.com. It is first come, first serve, and we are, we take it by email only. That's the only way you can do it. First come, first serve. If you send us an email, you're promising to take it. If you get it, we'll send out invoices at the end of the show. And it says, oh, I got a box from AG today. I haven't opened it yet. Fun for the weekend. I'm excited for you to get that box. Thank you so much for all of your support. We really, really appreciate it. And I think there's a lot of good stuff in there for you. You got some, you did good. You did good. Let me see here. I'm going to, we have 2 of these. I'm going to pull one of these out. This is beautiful aquamarine. Like I said, this is more on the spendy side. These were originally, let's see, we had them priced My papers keep flying away because it's right in front of the air conditioner. These were $122 per strand. I'll drop it down to $75. We've got 2 strands available at this price. And these are lovely. Beautiful aquamarine. Stunningly beautiful aquamarine. Ooh la la. Isn't that stunning? Beautiful. And so those are on sterling silver lobster claws. Usually they're marked 925 right in there. And then these are sterling silver chain too. So if you get these, you can take them apart or you can wear them as is, whatever you'd like to do. And we're going to start today with that. So what do you think? What do you want to see with that, everybody? What can we mix and match with that? AGL1. Trying to get that so the air doesn't blow it away. What would you like to see with that? Let me know in the comments. Kimberly says, I'll be back in a little bit. I have to go to the DG and get some kind of meat to cook for dinner. Yeah, we ran out right before this to try and find some things to cook for dinner. We're on a super budget right now, so it was interesting what we were trying to find to cook. But I also went to the DG to get something. So we'll see in a little bit, Kimberly. Let's see, what can we put with this, y'all? What kind of colors? What kind of things? What would you like to see with this? How about this? I don't know that this actually is going to go. We'll see. We'll see. Let's play around with it. Amethyst, says Susan. Okay, maybe let me see what we got. Purple, though, however, we have determined is not a great seller for us. Every time I put purple down, not many people grab anything purple. So I'm hesitant. I'm hesitant to do amethyst. This was 60. I'm going to go down to 50, but that is, for you, a one-time only thing. This is a one-time only discount on this beautiful lampwork piece. I'm going to move this up here because I like it up here better. This beautiful lampwork glass. And if Andrew's watching, if he remembers who this is from, because I can't remember offhand. And I think that could be nice. I think, as Michelle said, peach, and Amanda said peach or orange. This has some of that in it. And I think adding maybe some more peach or orange to all of this could really be nice. So I'm going to put this here. This is approximately 25 millimeters by 42 millimeters. And this is 1 and 2 look great together. I thought they would look pretty good. This is a little bit deeper blue, right? But I think it works. I think it works. Because you've got multiple colors of kind of blue in there. You've got that peachy, that kind of coral color in there. So we have those, AG1 and AG2, if anyone's interested in those. I know we're starting off a little higher dollar today, but I figured these are beautiful stones, and this is a beautiful lampwork piece. Stunning, stunning bead. So for those of you who love that, it might just be the thing for you, especially, we've never discounted this piece before, just so you know. I have multiple times we've had this up for sale. I have all the slips in the bag. We have never discounted this before. So this is the first time and probably the only time we will discount that. So if you like it, I do suggest getting it um, at the discount. Why not? Save yourself $10. All right, let me see what else we've got here. Somebody said teach Moonstone. Let me see what things we've got in here. In my multiple boxes of goodness that I've sat beside me so that I can do this without Andrew's help if needed. Okay. Let's see. Stephanie Dielman, says Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. That piece is by Stephanie Dielman. That lampwork piece. So we know the provenance of that one. Provenance. Stephanie Dielman is the artist. Okay. This is AGL3. And these were 28. I'm going to bring them down to 20. That's a big discount. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 of these. 4 of these. These are sponge coral. And they look like this. Well, this one looks like this. They're all different, obviously. They're natural. They're vintage. This is not new. These are vintage sponge coral beads in this fantastic color with these beautiful patterns in them. And these are super duper light, so using one of these to make a pair of, like using one in an earring would be easy to do. You could make them a bracelet out of these. That'd be a kind of really cool bracelet. If you cut this up, because this, as we said, when we sell them like this, that they're already made, we're really selling them at the price for a strand of beads. We're not selling them as a completed necklace. As you know, generally when you sell finished jewelry, the price is higher, right? So we're selling these, assuming you're probably going to cut them up. But we also sell them on our online store, and many people do give them as gifts like this too. But if you took this and cut it up and put one of these in between, we also had some aquamarine last night, some of y'all got, and I think that would be really pretty if you put that in there as spacers in between some of that and made some cool bracelets like that, right? I think I would like that. So that's AGL3, $20 a strand, 4 strands available, down from $28 a strand. And these are 12 millimeters by 34 millimeters. All right. Somebody says pale carnelian. I don't have pale carnelian, but I do have this. Let me show you. I think it's really super duper cool. This is AGL4, and this was 28. I think that was a low price. Anyway, I'm going to bring it down to 24 for tonight. And this is horn. Vintage horn beads. Look at this very interesting shape of the horn. And I think that's a beautiful color with some of that. Use one of those as a pendant on there. Isn't that pretty together? And I think that's just a really cool strand. Each one of those could be a pendant. $24 for the whole strand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So only $2 a pendant. Only $2 a pendant if you look at it that way. That's an amazing deal for that beautiful carved horn. So there's one strand of that available, $24 for those. And says it is a good deal. I've purchased strung gemstones like that from AG, just restrung it to add a pendant and using the sterling findings too. So nice. Thank you. So this is AGL4, $24. So what do you all think so far? What do you think of this mix and match? What more colors would you like to see? What would you like to see added? Let me see what I can find. What I think might work. I'm getting into these more kind of browner tones. I think these could be really cool. This is AGL5, and these were 18. I'm going to bring this down to 12. And it says, love it. How about pearls to tie in the sea or shell? Well, we were thinking the same thing because I just found some beautiful shell. There are 2 strands of this available. I love these because you can put things in the center of them. So if you wanted to pop in one of these in between, you could float one of those in between here. You could play around with that. I think that's super cool. And these are beautiful dyed shell. And that's AGL5. Was 18 for the strand, now 12 for tonight. AGL5. Let me move this up here. Let's give us some space over here. AGL5. Michelle says blues and greens. Blues and greens. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm like bringing out the big stuff tonight. I can't help myself. AGL6. I have 3 of these available. They were 42 a strand. Let's bring them down to 30 a strand. That's $12 off. That's a good savings. That's a good savings. These are green rutilated quartz. Strands of green rutilated quartz. If you like quartz, if you like rutilations, if you like green, you got it all. These are large, simple cut, faceted beads. And we have 3 strands of these available. And they're all different sizes. Obviously, let me just measure the length. The length's closer. That's about 34.5 millimeters. And this one is about 27 millimeters. So just to give you an idea. Green rutilated quartz, you get a whole strand of those. That's the lowest price we've ever done on those. Was 42, down to 30. Down to 30. So there's some more green. AGL6. So far, nothing's interesting to anyone. Nothing is interesting to anyone. Nobody likes these so far. Let's see here. What can I do? What can I do to make it more interesting, y'all? Let me see what I've got. Oh, these would look nice with that aquamarine. AGL, where am I at? 7. These were 22. Let's drop them down to 17. I can't quite go to 16, but we'll go to 17. This over here for now. And it's these beautiful shell beads in this kind of triangular shape. Whoops. Lost my paper, lost my bag. And I think that, if you use those as kind of spacers, that would be a very interesting look. Use them as spacers between other beads. Super pretty. And I think with a lot of this stuff, like, I love this color with green. Look at that. Love, love, love that together. That pulls out some of that brown in that green quartz. And I think with this, look at those together. Beautiful. And these are kind of triangular this way in a way, whereas these would be triangular this way. I think that's a really fun shape to play with those two. And somebody's asking, Susan says, how they look with the coral. Here they are with the coral. They kind of just glow. Like, that really brings out that glowy golden color of those. Look at those. So they go, and even the, I mean, that would be a different, you could float them inside. You could float them inside these if you wanted to, that way, which would make an interesting look. They could float in between, or they could go in between the beads. But they, of course, because of the color, they go really well with those too. They go with pretty much everything that we have on the board right now. That's AGL7, $17. Let me see if I can fit those in here without mixing up too much we got going on. So there we have all of those right now. And probably the easier way to do this now is to stretch these out a little bit so that they take up less space. And see if I can put these, let me get these situated here. This is going to go over here. Let's move this down. Let's move this down. It's here. Let me raise this up a little bit too, so we have more room on the board. I don't really need to put these in order, but I'm going to put them in order. Because, you know, kind of my way. go. There we have it. All right. And by the way, these ones are, just to give you an idea, they're about 9 millimeters wide and about 5 millimeters tall. And these, I don't think I gave you a size on. These are about 24 and a half millimeters, and the inner circles are about 15.7. I don't know if I did these either. These are 24 and a half by about 35.2. All right, that's AGL 1 through 7, all still available. And they all kind of mix and match, I think, with each other, but maybe we're not hitting on those colors today. So let's maybe move into these. This is a fun strand. This is a dyed shell, and AGL 8. This was 14. Let's bring it all the way down to 10. Let's see if we can sell something tonight. AGL 8 are these beautiful green dyed shell coins, kind of coins. And they are stunningly beautiful. And I think with these, they would work really well with those, right? I think they would be fun to float a few in here, like that, if you wanted to, or use them as spacers. They definitely go well, in my opinion, with this, with the horn. And of course, you've got the green and that coral, that sponge coral, using them as spacers in between there too. So that's AGL 8, $10. All right, everybody, what do you think? Where do y'all want to go with any of this? Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's take away. I gotta make room. So let's start with the beginning. AGL 1 goes away. Oh, we just sold AGL 8. Thank you so much. Get this party started a little bit here. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I'm going to take away AGL 2, the Stephanie Dillman lamp work piece. One more view of that before I put that away. AGL2, only $50, down from $60. First time ever discounting that. Let's move these over. I think some of these still have some possibility here. I love these green quartz beads. So AGL 8 is sold. I'm going to leave that up just for a little bit here, though, to see what we come up with. AGL 9. got on these? 2 of these available. AGL9 is Verdite. Verdite, this beautiful green faceted round. $12 a strand only. And these rounds are about 7.5 millimeters in the Verdite. Beautiful color. I don't see this stone often at all. And let me show you the other one too. It's definitely not a stone we see very often. And I love it because of course it's green and I love the green. But again, it would go so well with a lot of this. Because there's a little bit of that beige tone in there. It really pulls that out. And these again, of course, could be really fun to play with those. And the horn. We've sold one of the Verdite so far. We've got one left. Thank you so much. One of those. And with this sponge coral. Beautiful colors together. Beautiful stones. Verdite. One strand now left. AGL 9. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Let's put the sponge coral away. Anybody got any suggestions what they would like to see? Something I've not shown yet? Let me know in the comments. Help me out. What do you want to see? What would you like? Help me out in the comments. Maybe we need to clear the decks here. These are sold, thank you. Let me clear this one off of here. And let's clear these ones out. Yeah, I've sold one of them. I'm going to leave this up because I've sold only one of those. We still have one left. So I'm going to leave one of those up. All right. I love it. I can't believe this. At $24, I can't believe this is still available. Okay. All right. Now let's see. Let's see. Alright, moving into some, we had some green. How about, let's see here. AGL 10, right? Yes, 10. $10. Vintage German glass. Vintage German glass. Limes. Vintage German glass limes. AGL 10. And those are from our friend Ava. And there are 10 beads on there. Each one of those is approximately 10.5 millimeters by 14.5 millimeters. And I think those are just fun. Fun. It would go with these. You could possibly float a lime in there if you wanted to, probably. That could possibly work. I don't know if you would, but there you go. AGL 10 Vintage German Glass Limes. All right. Let's see here. Do I want to do that? Do I want to clear it off? Oh, we just sold AGL 10. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's, okay, let me move this. Since that is sold. I think we're going to go into something totally different. Nobody's giving me any suggestions. Nobody has a suggestion for me? All right. I like these. These would go with a lot of stuff that's on here. I'm torn. EGL against clearing the decks, but also keep finding really nice things to go with all of this. These were 24. I'm going to drop them down to 20. 20. Kimberly says, back. Do I want to know what I missed? Well, probably, Kimberly, because there's a lot that is still available. 1 through 7 are all still available. So if you take a scroll back, 1 was the, I think you were still here for that. That was the Aquamarine. 2 is the Stephanie Dielman Lampwork Glass. First price reduction and only price reduction ever given on this piece. 1 of those still available. 3 is the Sponge Coral for only $20 a strand. 4 strands of those available. And then 4 is this magnificent strand of horn, which each one of those could be like a pendant. There are 12 of them there, so they work out to $2 a piece. That's $24. 5, we have 2 of these available, which are these the dyed shell with the circular holes. Those are only $12 each. Then we have the green rutilated quartz. Actually, it's tourmalinated. I think I said rutilated. It's actually green tourmalinated quartz. $30 a strand for the whole strand of those. 3 of those available. We have 7, which are these little triangular, beautiful kind of triangular cut, almost triangular. I call them triangular. They're not quite. But the shell beads, they kind of look like commas in some cases, or apostrophes. $17 for that. We have a Verdite strand, 1 Verdite strand left. AGL 9, $12. 8 and 10 have sold so far. Kieran says, I'll go peek after I start dinner. Love the Lampwork glass, says Susie. Susie says, I'm not sure where we are. Why? Why don't you know? Why don't you know? Everyone's saying purple and amethyst, but nobody buys it when I sell it. Nobody buys the amethyst when I put it up. So I'm kind of not been putting it up lately. We did put some purple yesterday, and hardly any of it sold. Let's see here. Love the shell and the verdite. Aren't they nice? I know. I do too. Think they're nice. Okay. Oh, we tried to sell AG10 again. Sorry, we just have one. Just have one. These are lampwork glass. These are beautiful. Kimberly says, I bought some really juicy amethyst from you. Yes. Some of y'all have, right? It's just lately, it's not been really a thing. These are very sparkly. These are very sparkly lampwork beads. And they were $24. Dropped them down to $20 for y'all. And I think those would go with a lot of these things. They're kind of that bronzy kind of color. So they work with the green really well, I think. Of course, they work with the browns and the beiges. Lampwork glass. And they measure approximately 11 by 16. 11 by 16. Sue says, I've been cooking, cleaning, and trying to get Smudge to go poop since it's been raining all night. LOL. Oh boy. Yeah. That's one of the reasons we do not have a dog. One of them is the walkies would be hard and not easy for us to fit into the schedule. We've just sold AGL2. Thank you so much. That's the Stephanie Dillman Lampwork glass. We appreciate that so much. Somebody's really going to enjoy that at a very, very good price. All right, that's AGL11. What do y'all think? You keep saying purple. Everyone keeps saying purple. Let me see then. Anna says blue, so maybe blue. Let me see what I've got. Let me see. I cannot believe we still have these. Okay. How about these? AGL 12. $12. I think. Is there just one in here? Oh, these are Wendy Bergaman, Andrew says. Wendy Bergaman lampwork glass. They're so pretty. On camera, they are not, I'm telling you, on camera, they're not as nice as they are in person. The light is like kind of bleaching them out in some way, but in person, they look like little golden, bronzy, beautiful things. That's one that is definitely better to be seen in person than on camera. I've got one strand from Australia. From Australia, Andrew says. Wendy Bergaman from Australia. So somebody said they wanted some blues. So how about these? Vintage check glass. Got one strand of these. Heading into kind of a blue color, but I think these would be fantastic together. Fun together, good colors together. But the blue also works really well with this. What do you think? Oh, Andrew says, put the lucky coin. It's up here. It's here. It's just up here. This is no wonder nothing is selling. Put the lucky coin. We've sold a few. Thank you all who are grabbing some. But these are really pretty. Vintage check glass, long strand of vintage check. And these are approximately 9 millimeters by 11.5. 9 by 11.5. These kind of holographic vintage check glass beads. AGL 12. Sanders says, more summery colors, maybe. More summery. Okay, well, let me see what I've got. How about, okay, let me put some stuff away. That y'all don't want. That's all right. Maybe I talked too much in the beginning. Did I talk too much? I wear everybody out? Is that what I did? Maybe. I did talk a lot. We just sold AGL 12. Thank you so much. Probably people were like, would you please shut up, William? As I just keep talking and talking and talking and talking. Andrew says, we're going to need to sell a lot more to get me more swell again. I know, you can barely find swell again, too, anymore. We're going to have to get that quick. AGL 12 is not my usual sort of bead, but it is such a pretty strand. It really is. And this is note, but I may have missed the make-along update. Yes, I think I forgot to talk about the make-along update. We're postponing the make-along. I posted that. We're going to postpone it, I think, until next Friday. Now, that's all going to depend. That's probably what it's going to be. Because Andrew has a class next Friday, or next Saturday at Contemporary Craft. But even if he can't do the make-along with me on Friday, if he's preparing for the class, I should be able to, I think, do it. So I think we're going to do the make-along next Friday instead. It's just going to give us a little bit of breathing room from everything going on. What did I do? There it is. What did I do with the other Verdite strand? Put it in the wrong bag. That's what I did with it. Okay. Let's put that away. All right. AGL9, 10. Move these. These look great together. This has sold. Let me put that away too, because that is now gone. Susan says, I'll be traveling back from DC next Friday, so I won't make it to the make-along. Oh boy. Well, hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully we can do it next Friday. That's the tentative plan. Of course, we'll let you know. But tentatively, that's where we're at with it. Kim says, awesome games got canceled today, so no concessions, but Wednesday is the last day of summer ball, so woohoo. Yeah, I was just saying at the beginning of this, my mom is going with my nephews. This weekend is their last one. Unless they put together a championship team, then they'll play that. But so far, the championship team looks like there's not enough kids for the team. Let's see here. More summery colors. What do I have in here? Oh, those would have been good earlier. That's not really summery, but I do like these. Maybe they're green. They're summery, right? Green summery. This is a snakeskin agate. Let's see. We had this at 24. This is AGL 13. We had this at 24. I've only got one. We've had a number of these. This is the last one we've got left, I think. So let's bring it down to 16. That's chopping a third of the price off, right? 8, 16, 24. Beautiful strand. I love the patterns and the color of this. And it says, oh, that's a jungle color, right? It is. That is definitely a jungle color. You're right. These are approximately 27 millimeters by 25. And I think they still go really well with these, right? That could be fun. I love these. Like, look at that as a bracelet. Just imagine that as a bracelet. Look how fun. Look how beautiful that is. I like how those go together, and they feel really good. Um, like, sometimes this shape kind of hangs off funny, but I feel like these feel really good as a bracelet idea. Um, and it's the gold spacers between those. Yeah, we had some gold spacers the other day. Um, or you know what? Those little what were they called? Minos parpucas. The Minos parpucas we had the other day. I bet they would look fantastic. Those little marshmallows in between these, like that. Oops, I'm gonna lose it. There it goes. AGL 13, one strand of those left, dropping it down to $16, down from 24, third of the price, knocked right off for you. And let's see here. This doesn't really go, but that's a summary color. Maybe I'll move into. Okay. Let me start going into a different colorway, I think, because the greens and the browns and we've done that. So let's start. I'm going to leave these up just so you can see them for those of you who may not have yet. But trying to see this. This is a strawberry quartz. This is, I believe, a synthetic, not synthetic. It's not glass. I feel like it's real quartz. I think it's a dyed strawberry quartz. It was 16 a strand, dropping it down half price. Only got one left. Make it $8. This is a really pretty pink strand. Really, really pretty coloring. Kind of a pink quartz. It has a more, like, usually a real strawberry quartz. I think, I don't know. It's tricky because at first I was not seeing the striations in it. It might be natural, but I think it's synthetic, or at least dyed. Anyway, it's half price. It's a great deal. Either way, 6 millimeter faceted rounds in that kind of pink color. And then we're going to see what more I have. We have this beautiful dyed jade strand. AGL 15. And this was $18. I'm going to bring it down to $16. And this is very pretty. How about some darker pinks, reds, like variations on the quartz? Well, how about the dyed jade? This is a very deep kind of pink. Kind of a very bright, deep pink. AGL 15. And these are 10.3 by 8 millimeter faceted drops of dyed jade. And they are a really pretty color, and I think could mix well with those. So it's AGL 15. Let's see what else. What else do I have? And this is yes, love to take a color and go to all extremes. Those are nice together. Thanks. Thanks for the suggestion too. AGL 16. Let's go another way. How about this vintage glass? This is a vintage pink opalescent glass. And this is AGL 16, $3 for the set of 6 vintage pink opalescent glass beads. And they're kind of a squished melon, kind of a squished cube. Beautiful opalescence. I think they go really fun. They're fun with that. They pull out that opalescent, kind of pulls out some of that color. I don't know about these. I don't know if you'd play around with those. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know about those. But that's another variation on the pink. We just sold both of those lots of the AGL 16. So somebody liked those. Thank you so much. Or a few people like those. So those are sold out. Thank you, thank you. And what else do I have around here? AGL 17. We had this at 24. I can't go much lower, but I'll give you a little extra bonus today. And it says they would need something to marry them together. Yeah, these two, right? Yeah, they need a little something. I don't know what. What do you think? What would marry those two together better? If you like that pink, but don't want the glass and you'd like some actual rose quartz, these are exceptionally beautiful rose quartz. I don't know what even shape you call that. They're kind of a faceted coin, but they're table cut on each side, and the edges are faceted kind of like a rondelle. So whatever you want to call that. It's a beautiful strand. We had it at 24, which is already a very low price for the quality of these. Dropping it down to 22 for y'all. If you like them, they're yours. 12 millimeters by approximately 5.2. And that's a vintage strand of rose quartz. Amanda says antique brass or bronze to marry those together. How about this bronzy color in there? I don't know. I don't know. That's a very deep bronzy color, though. Maybe we need something a little bit less strong. We've just sold AGL 15, the dyed jade. Thank you so much. That has gone. What about this? AGL 18. These were 8. Let's drop them down to 6. Now this is different, but how about this red blue? Like, I don't know. Does that do anything? I have this feeling that that could play well together. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like that? I kind of like it. I don't know. Whoops. Don't lose the beads. I don't know why I like that. Anna says, yes, it does. I kind of like that together. And I'm not sure what it is about it, but I think it does something, right? Whatever it's doing, I like it. So those are vintage check glass drukes. And they're red with a blue metallic. And says, yes, it all does. Isn't it weird? Like, I would not have thought, if you told me when these were sitting in the bag that this, and this, that these would go together, I'd be like, you're a little bit strange. But then you put it together and it does. I think it works. It's a weird thing. These are 7.5 millimeter vintage check glass drukes with the blue metallic. Anna says it brings out the blue in the pink in this opalescent, right? That opalescent shines, and so that kind of blue hint that you get with that. So if you got these opalescent beads, you might like these drukes. And then this, just pop it on there, and it really brings the glowiness of the red out. Even though they're different reds, like one's more of a pink, but it really kind of brings them, I think, together, and the light shows through. I think this also could work together. Yeah, that could also work together too. I like the other, it's more bold, the other one, I think, but I think that also works. That really brings the blue out in those, whatever the reason. And this one is still available if anybody's interested. All right, so there are those. The cool pink goes well, says Anna. Yeah, I think it looks nice. My style is more this one because it's more bold, but these and these work well. Of course, the rose quartz is going to be the same, right? I think the rose quartz is going to work well too. Not, it works, but because of that, like Anna said, because of the opalescence in this and the blue tone of that opalescent, like there's some blue in that. You wouldn't think it, but it's there. There's a coolness to those opalescent beads, and they work really well with those. All right. Okay. Let's start moving this stuff away and get rid of the stuff that has sold as well. So this is gone. Oops. There. I like this, but I don't know. I have to ask Andrew what that is. Hopefully he comes up at some point. 18, we've sold one of 18. Thank you so much. That's the drukes. Okay, the Wendy Bergman beads are going away. These little bronze beauties. And let's put 13 away as well. Oop, my bag for that disappeared. Where are my bags? The bag. There we go. That's still available if anybody wants that. All right, let's keep these out for now because we're playing around with these. I'm going to leave even the ones that sold out for a moment because if people who bought them see things they like to coordinate with, think that's good. But we've given us a chance, I think, here to move into maybe some blue. Somebody else had mentioned blue earlier, so let me see here if I've got any blue that I like with any of this. Oops, let go. Let go, let go. Whoa. Sorry, everybody, it wants to fall off the strand here. Let me tie this strand up a little bit. There we go. How about these? These are the cathedral cut check glass. And it's a nice strand. It's a nice, pretty sizable strand. Cathedral cut check glass. And let me see how many. We've got a number of these. 1, 2, 3. Here we've got 4 of them. AGL19. We've got 4 of them available. Let's do them. Let's do them at. They were 8. Let's do them at $6. $6, because I think it's not quite the right. Well, some of it is. That metallic reflects in different ways, and at some points it looks good, and at some points, I don't know. But let's. Anna's saying baby blue might be interesting. Let me see what I've got here. What do y'all think of that one? Let's see here. AGL20. We've sold 2 of the 19s. Thank you so much. This is. This we had at 28. I'm going to bring it down to. I'm losing my mind tonight. This is not. I don't know if this goes, but this is. I just pulled this and it's so pretty. Lapis chips. It's a long strand of these beautiful lapis chips. Nice quality vintage lapis chips. And they were $28 for the long strand, bringing that down to $18. $18. 1 of them available. Nice color. Nice set of chips. So, and generally, let me grab these. They're around 7mm, somewhere in there, 7mm. Anna says, I like them, bought one. Thank you so much. Thank you. So AGL 14 is still available. 15 is sold, so I'm going to remove 15. Yeah, 15 is sold. 16, both of those have sold. Let me find. Oh, I'm losing all my little bags. There it is. Okay. 17 is still available, right? Yes. 18, we still have 1 of those available. Anybody want another one? Want one of these? Beautiful check glass, vintage check glass drukes. Cathedral cuts, we still have 2 of these available. These are a really beautiful color. I didn't give you a size on those either, did I? 6 millimeter. 6 millimeter. They are very pretty. And they've got that silvery edge. So I think this would be great. These are nice colors for summer, the bright blue, but also winter, because it's got that silver and blue together. I could see that done with some silver beads. Nice wintertime look. Great for all seasons right there. And AGL 20 is still available. We just put that up. That's the lapis chips at $18 for this full strand, which is a big strand. Where's my ruler? There it is. I just realized I didn't have my ruler out the whole time. This strand is 24 plus 12, so 36. 36-inch strand for $18. Good deal. Good deal. All right. What next, y'all? Somebody said some antique bronze and antique brass earlier. I don't know if I've got any around here. Ooh, these are nice. I think I just got AGL 21. These are $4 each. I've got 3 of them available. I know some of you had grabbed these, but if you missed them before, I want to say these are vintage Japanese, but I would need Andrew to confirm that to make sure I'm right. They could be German. Maybe any of you who got them maybe remember, but they're a really pretty pink, shampoo-y kind of bead. And they're $4 a bead. They're 18 millimeters by about 18 millimeters. And it says, think they are German. I bought some. Andrew said, at 25, I will come up with the hearts. Okay. So these very possibly could be German. Could definitely be German. It's either German or Japanese. But they are vintage or antique. I think they're antique. So they were made with gold to make the pink, which is why they are a little bit more. They're $4 a bead. And there are 3 of them available. But I think they would be so pretty with a lot of this, right? Very pretty with a lot of those. And it said, see those, Mary, the first 2 pinks on your left. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Pretty much everything they're going to go well with. Because I can see them even with these. They do something together. You need something maybe to tie them a little bit together more, but they really become a deeper pink with this red and blue. Like, look how much that pink looks like it's changed, rather than when they're on their own or with kind of another pink, right? So there they are, AGL 21, $4 each. And if you've been waiting for Andrew's hearts, as he said in the comments, if you missed that, when we get to number 25 here, Andrew's going to come up and bring his hearts to display and show you and sell. So hang in there, everybody. Now I just have to figure out what's next. I don't know if I'm going to look for coordinator or if I'm just going to look for fun now. I'm going to look for some fun stuff now. I love these, so I'm going to put them up We've tried these before. They're still here. I think we had them at 14. I'm going to drop them down to 12. There's a heck of a lot of them here. A heck of a lot of them here. These are glass beads, and they're kind of this oil slick. Let me show you. Kind of this oil slick color, and they've got so many multiple colors on them. And they go with so much because of all the colors they've got in there. So they're really fun. They really blend well with other things. And 100% this is, hey Vicky, thanks for joining us. This is one of those beads that definitely, again, looks better in person than on camera, because the colors are very hard to get to come across on camera. I don't know. But you get all of these. It's AGL 22, $12 for all of these glass beads. And they're drilled, or they have holes this way, top to bottom. So it's a really cool, I would assume they'd be drilled lengthwise, but they're not. They're drilled through the width of the bead. And top to bottom, they're about 18 millimeters by 19 millimeters. All right, let's put some of this away. How's your evening going, Vicky? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Is Kimberly still watching? Are you still out there? If you are, I got your email. Thank you. And the answer is yes. Totally possible. I'll work on that tonight for you. Okay, what am I doing here? Good, still in rehab center after my surgery. Hopefully everything is going good. All right. Oop. All right. Look for fun, says Suzanne. This is fun. AGL 23. Going to give you a good deal on this. Very good deal on this. We had it at 38. Bringing it down to 28. These beautiful irradiated quartz beads. Vintage strand. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. One strand available. And they are graduated. See if I can get it around the camera here, trying to show you this strand. One strand available. They're graduated from, the smallest one is about 18.5 millimeters by 6, all the way up to the largest, let's see here, is 37.7 by 13.5. So that's some beautiful rainbow goodness right there. Radiated quartz strand. One of those available. Vintage strand was 38, bringing it down to 28. Super duper extra good price for y'all. And what else? What else do I have that I liked in here? These are super pretty. Super pretty. AGL24. We had these at 24. I'm going to bring them down to 22. I can't go much lower. I really can't. These really should be higher. These are a pre-night faceted drop strand. This is pre-night without the black. This is just the gemmy pre-night. Just the gemmy green part. These are faceted drops. We have them at $22, down from $24, which was our low price before. For this kind of gemmy grade, that's a good deal. These are 8 millimeters, 8.3 by about 5.1. Got 2 strands of these available. And let's see what I can end the night. Before we end the night with Andrew's stuff, what do y'all want to see? What would you like to see at the end? What color? Give me a color, everybody. Or how about I just pick this? This looks like a good strand. This looks good. This is a, wow. Let's see here. This is AGL25. This was 36. Let's bring it down to 24. $24. Well, Suzanne said yellow. We had lots of yellow last night. This is not yellow, sorry. It has some yellow in it, kind of. This is a whole strand of beautiful tourmaline chips. Beautiful tourmaline chips. There's some yellow for you, but there's also pink and green and black. There's some more of that yellow. More green. Nice long strand of tourmaline chips. AGL25 was 36 for the strand, now 24. These chips are approximately somewhere in around 4 millimeters. Some are a little longer, of course. Like, look at that one. That one's very much longer than 4. One strand available, AGL25, ending the gemstones tonight on a good, I think that's a really good deal for the tourmaline strand. Vintage strand, tourmaline chips, really nice color. We just sold one of the pre-nights. Thank you so much. That's the AGL 24s. We have one of those still available. And we have the tourmaline chips here now still available. So there we have it. Let me start clearing the deck. And then Andrew is going to be coming up, I believe, soon with his hearts. So what do y'all think? You like that stuff tonight? I know it felt a little scatterbrained because it's just me doing it, but hopefully you liked all that. Had some fun with me tonight.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going. It's going. How are you doing?
Fine.
Fine.
See what I mean by matte? This is what I want.
Oh, you did make the matte.
Correct.
You know, I was like, I know he doesn't like the glossy, but I knew he's going to change it. And I was like, these are glossy.
Well, you didn't use my secret recipe.
You didn't give me your secret recipe, apparently.
Apparently not. I thought it'd be fine, but whatever.
Whatever. All right, let's see here.
These are crazy.
Oh my goodness, look at them all. How many of them are there?
40.
40. 40. That's good.
You think this?
That's what I had in my mind. That's what I had in my mind.
Alright, so this is going to be a little bit hinky unless we get the bags. I might have to get it. Do we have like those one bags downstairs?
I have to look. Are you excited, everybody? Have you been waiting for these? Waiting for him to debut these? I have. I haven't even seen them all. He just completed them like just now, everybody. Just now. Who's still out there with us? Who's still... That wasn't me, that was the bag, I promise. Who's still out there with us? You hanging out with me? Hanging out with us tonight? All right. He's looking for bags. I have some here. Ooh, there's some little bags I'm always looking for. Norma's here. Anne's here. Nancy's here. Hello, Nancy. Susanna's still here. Are you excited for Andrew's heart? Have you liked his heart project so far? That you've seen the peek? I think he's done sneak peeks of these, right? Has he done? Yeah, he did. Hopefully y'all like these. He's been working hard on them.
Alright, do you have slips made?
Not made, but I got slips.
Well, hurry up.
Hurry up.
We're going to do this in batches, because
They're not going to
otherwise...
fit in those little bags.
I don't know, but that's what I found,
Yeah,
so...
Here's some.
Alright. Start writing.
Oh, I thought you were going to do this.
Why?
Because I got to get my stuff together.
Huh.
I was going to go unload furniture.
You'll be fine.
You going to help me with that then?
No.
Oh. How are we doing it?
24 each. So, let's see. We'll put it like this. And then we'll show closer.
Melinda's been here and out, just back from North Carolina late yesterday and worn out. What were you in North Carolina for? trip, fun trip, hopefully.
So I started, the base of these are like a gray clay. And then I do layers and layers. If you caught it during the reset, I showed kind of the first stages, but of course, since I can't stop, I layer stuff on. This black one was actually kind of hard to do but I thought it was like that little dragon, you know, that one, the the one where they train the dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Toothless.
Yeah.
And I like a very particular kind of matte color or a finish. So I had to doctor some of this up to make it just right. So there's 40 of them. And they're first come, first serve, of course. And we're going to do these. There's about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Alright, so he's going to show you closer.
Oh, Melinda went to the casino. I won some. Nice.
Alright.
Nice. I'm excited to see the heart, Suzanne. I had to quick change into my jammies first. Nice. So this is 26. Ooh, different color on the back than the front.
Sometimes. It depends on the one.
This is 27. Which one's your favorite so far that you're seeing down here? This is 28.
And so I call these protected hearts. And so the heart is a symbol of love,
29.
but I also kind of think of it as like a symbol of self. And then the eye is a symbol of protection, but I also think it's one of those ones that's like to see is to know.
30.
So these are all hand sculpted by me, and all the wire work is done by me. And the eyes are glass.
31.
But they're polymer clay.
We've sold the black one. 32 is sold. Thank you so much.
This one, well, there's one that's kind of black, but it's a little bit more like really dark brown.
32. This is the sold one.
And I got this paint from Stuart Simple, and it's supposed to be like it absorbs the light, because he got hateful against Anish Kapoor.
This is 33. 34.
And some of them I did a little bit more painterly, and then some of them are a little bit, they're more subtle.
This is 35.
And there's a little bit metallic on some of them. This one's a lot of metallic.
I like that eye in that
kind of
one.
a gold. I thought that was a nice contrast to the kind of orangey gold.
This is 36.
And this one is kind of like, I like that kind of like that periwinkle bluish kind of purple with that spring green.
And this is 37.
And this one you may think is like the plainest one, but it's probably got the most layers. And it's because to get the white like that, I had to, it's not really a white, it's like a real pale pink.
Mm-hmm. It's like a purpley
gray,
lavender amethyst kind of color.
but it's white.
Mm-hmm.
But also not white.
But also not white.
So you can kind of see the layers. And you can also tell that I have a very particular, like I like the finish to be a certain way. So now this, there's some that I may need to put these and let them dry a little bit more.
So you don't want to put them in bags yet, right?
Yeah, let me get another.
Get your board.
Because I don't want it to go bad. Not, it won't go bad, but I don't want it to like get stuck.
Yeah. Let's see here. Just got an email. AGL. I think AGL26 just sold. If you just sent an email, you said 26 at 35, but these are 24. I just want to make sure that if you just sent that email that you wanted 26 and not 35, because both numbers are in there. Neither one's the price, so I just want to make sure.
Of course, I saw Idabel and she said, of course, the black one sold.
My favorites so far, Anne says, are 26, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36, and 37. LOL.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So we're putting them on here. "36 is my favorite so far," says Norma. I like 37 so far, I think is one of my favorites. And of course, the green one.
White.
I like the white, and I like the green, 27.
I kind of thought of a lizard with that one.
So that was 37 was the last one?
Or a frog.
37 was the last one?
The white one?
Yeah.
Your favorite?
My favorite.
Alright. So top seller purple.
Everyone's been asking for purple tonight.
Well,
so
there you go. Don't say I didn't give it to you.
Right. 36 has just sold. Thank you so much.
And one of the reasons why I'm making these is to help pay for my class. I was supposed to get funding for it, but it didn't come through. So it's helpful to have the extra. And plus the material fee is kind of expensive. And then I'm going to be on the road for a lot of July. Mm-hmm. So anything we can do to kind of offset that will help. And I appreciated that people seem to be liking these. Any little bit helps, of course.
Mm-hmm. I think these might look good for Pride tomorrow, too.
Maybe. I don't know if I want to put them out yet, though, for everybody else.
You don't want to sell them the rainbow at the Pride?
There's enough rainbows. We'll have our, I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it.
Melinda says, did you get my email? Oh, it was 26 and 35.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much. Not to say your business, but that makes sense.
Putting things to that winning, put your winnings
to use.
All right, let me think.
Okay.
What's the next one?
What's the next one?
What about this one? Or is there too many oranges?
I think you need another green in here. No, you got 2 greens, you got 2 oranges, you got pinks, blue, purple. Maybe like that, a darker green, a bronzy green. Let's do that one. That one you can't even see on the screen because it's under the
Well,
comments. Let me take the comments away for a second. There we go. All right. Here they are. 38. And Linda says, yes, I don't mind. Thank you. 38.
this one's kind of
Ooh, look at that eye in that one.
it's got kind of a purpley blue with a little bit of pink, a little bit of red. Looks like my eyes after a long night. This one is probably one of my favorite of the eyes.
Yeah, that eye is like hypnotic.
It's like this kind of bright blue green.
It's got the brightest green in the center.
And it looks gray on screen, but it's kind of like a grayish blue.
And tilt that away a second. Like, look at how that glows. It just glows in there.
It kind of looks icy to me.
Like what do they call them? The something walkers? The White Walkers.
So this they face. And this one it looks gray on the screen, but it's like this kind of purpley blue.
That was 40. This is 41. Suzanne says, what awesome pieces, Andrew. Great work.
Thanks. This one is kind of that's a little bit of a different one. So it's kind of like a I don't know what color you call that. Mauve. Dusty rose.
This is 42.
This is kind of fleshy.
Yeah, 41 is a little bit fleshy. 42.
I don't know who's splash because it's kind of gray also. This one's more fleshy.
Your flesh.
Wow.
Not mine.
Yours.
Not mine.
Yours is more like 37.
43 is this one.
Kind of a tangerine color.
It is tangerine. Look at that eye in there too.
I thought it went well, and then on the kind of the back, it kind of it has a little bit of a green hint to it.
43's eye is pretty, says Anne. I know, right? Let's see. 38 just sold. Thank you so much.
Yeah. This one it looks black, but it's not. It's more like a dark brown.
And it's got some sparkle.
See how different it is from the other one? See, I don't think you would notice it unless they're next to each other.
Yeah, this is definitely darker, the first one.
That black. That's that Stuart Simple one.
This is 44. And then 45. Look at that eye.
I thought that was really kind of nice with the kind of a yellowy green with the kind of orangey. I like this one.
This one's like a sunset.
It's the fire.
Yeah, it is. It's got the fire eye.
But also the color.
And then the colors fade from brighter orange to a deeper kind of red orange to the back, which is even darker. And then 47.
And this is kind of like a muted, kind of a brownish red.
Muted rusty color.
Yeah, I could see that. I think they look better in person.
They do. And says, I also love the wire. Yeah, anybody who grabs these, you're going to love them in person even more, for sure. Yeah, he did great work on the wire work. It's like almost like a barbed wire is what it reminds me of.
Yeah, because that's how they make it. I didn't put the barbs.
No. Norma says 46 is my fire colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. This is 48. 49.
And then this one is a little bit different.
It's like taupey or something almost.
Kind of. I was thinking more like this one's more metallic.
It is definitely metallic.
So it's kind of like a concrete color, but it's also got like a shimmer in it. This supposedly got stainless steel ground up in it.
Ugh.
But I don't know. We'll see. Pink.
50 is pink.
I think that's the only, well, there's another pink one. but this one kind of has like a greenish yellow eye,
Yeah.
so it stands out.
And then 51.
This one the William picked.
Yeah, I like that metallic green, gold, that
Kind of
golden
bronzy.
green.
We got a purpley eye.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like pyrite, says Ann, for 49.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could see that.
All right. Next, what are we doing? Clear. Let me start writing. AG52.
Yeah, I like 39. I really like 41. I like. I mean, I like them all. I made them. And I don't. Even if some of them are kind of similar, none of them are exactly the same.
No, they're all handmade.
But also, I try to make the eyes different so that you can, like, if you have one that's like a similar color palette of the heart, the eyes different, so they're all unique. And I like that matte finish because it contrasts with the shiny of the eye. Alright.
They all feel really different. So many subtle differences. Like one had an accent color from the eye around the inside of the eyelid. So good.
Mm-hmm. I try to do that. Pick things either contrasting or working with the eye.
Ooh, I like 58. Ooh, that's so good. 58 is so good.
That's like the reddest one is
63.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, that's so pretty. I like that with that eye combo. All right. Last batch. Sandra says, okay, here's the problem. I like too many of these.
That's good.
AGL.
That didn't make all duds.
Right. AGL 52.
So that one is kind of green, but it's got that kind of lighter iris color.
Anne says, I've zeroed in on one, but 58 is tempting me. Yeah, 58. Ooh, wait till you see it in person. AGL 53. I like this blue color. AGL 54. Another kind of golden one, this time with a little bit of almost looks like red or purple in there. Also the periwinkle one, like 53, Suzanne. Also the gold, LOL. Yeah, this periwinkle, this one, I love this one. Did I show you this one? No. AGL 55.
There was something on that one, and it was bothering me.
And then 56. Look at that eye. That eye has the green, it has the purple, it has the blue, it has the pink, and then that green color for the heart.
That one's kind of metallic-y too.
It is. It
Which is
shimmers.
which is kind of a pain in the butt, by the way. With that matte, because the shimmer doesn't want to go matte. It wants to be shiny.
Wants to be shiny. You did a good job getting it matte though. It still shimmers.
That's the thing about those matte is that sometimes it can make the colors go dead.
This is 57.
But I don't like it to be shiny because then it looks like plastic. So this you're kind of like wondering what is it?
Sandra also likes 55 and 64. You haven't gotten to 64 yet. Oh, you like these kind of purpley ones, huh? This is 58. Look at this.
Well, that one's kind of a burnt orange with kind of a brick red, and then that kind of bright kind of orchid pink.
Beautiful. 59.
This one's a gold one, but it's got a red kind of burnt orange wash on it.
60.
And I thought that the orange contrasted good with the blue.
Yeah, that orange, that blue eye. Nice. 60.
And this one is kind of a purple, but kind of reads brown.
It's bronzy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some shimmer to it as well. It's really pretty. Sandra says, I want to give one as a gift. Nice.
Okay,
I think
that would make a good gift.
Yeah, that $24, that's a nice gift.
Handmade.
Handmade, nice gift price. AGL 61.
This one looks like the lizard friend.
Yeah.
Or a frog.
Anne says 60 is really
Toad
pretty.
friend.
Toad friend, I like that. It does look like a frog leather. These are very well priced, says Anne.
Thanks.
AGL 62.
I wanted it so that people could get it, because sometimes we make stuff and I know that people want stuff and they not necessarily be able to get it, so try to make it affordable.
AGL 63.
And that's the reddest of the red.
The red of the red. Red. True red.
And I think with the blue eye, it kind of makes it pop more.
64.
I feel like I made something that was kind of like that red one before.
And last one.
Our
65.
heart of gold.
The heart of gold. But look at that eye with that purple and blue, almost silvery eye. The heart of gold. AGL 65. Zoom a little bit. So there you have it, friends. What do you think? They look really good all sitting here together.
Like an installation.
I know.
But they can't move, because then they need to have their number.
I know, they need to have their numbers for sure, because I'm not going to try and match them back up later.
I mean, they're all different, so it wouldn't be too bad. But
just playing sorting with 40 of them.
It's like that shell game.
Which one's which? So what do y'all think? You like them? I hope so. I like them. So far, I think, is the white one still available? I think it is.
I was going to put the hearts hanging from the hands of that.
Oh, your sculpture?
Maybe. But maybe that's not the right direction.
Anne loves them.
Thanks. I think that we could all use a little bit of peace of mind.
Yes.
And so that's where I went with it.
37 has just sold.
The white one.
Was that the white one?
It
just sold. Yep, 37 just sold. All right.
What
I'll
else?
let it go, I guess.
Well, it's not like
He's like, you don't have a choice.
No, you don't get to pick.
Okay, so out of these, let's see here 32, 26, 35, 36, 38, and 37 have sold tonight. Ann says, did I get 37? I couldn't keep track of what sold as I was going along. Yes, you did, Ann. You got 37. So 32, 26, 35, 36. Boy, it was like 35, 36, 37, and 38. That series sold. And then 26 outside of that. And 32. 32, 35, 36, 37, 38.
I wonder what colors
I don't know. But that's...
Do you want to show the ones that sold?
I don't think we need to.
Or you're tired of looking at them?
Well, if we're going to show the ones that didn't sell.
Well, most of them didn't sell.
I know.
We'll pull the ones that didn't sell, or that did sell. So
Okay, so
36.
26 first.
But what?
26. That was the first one.
That's this one.
Yeah.
That one's good.
The next one in line, 32. The black one. And then 35, 36, 37, and 38.
35. Boy, I like this one. It's really bold. Yeah, I like that one. 35.
36. That's the next one right after. 37. That's my favorite, I think. And 38. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, right? Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Those ones have sold.
So none from the last batch?
Nope, none from the last batch.
I mean, it doesn't. There is not really any order.
No.
Because they got mixed. I'm surprised that 58 didn't go.
Yeah, I'm really surprised this one.
55 I thought was nice too.
This is 53 is one of my favorites. This periwinkle one.
This one I'm surprised didn't go.
The bright pink. Well, our bright pink watcher I don't think is here today, so
This
she
one,
was earlier, but
I'm really surprised about this one.
the sunsetty one.
The bright fiery color.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one is like the blue ones didn't sell.
Ann says my favorites from the last batch are 58. That's that one. 60. This is this one. 64. Oh yeah, that's a good one. And 65. Sandra says people are still thinking. LOL. Sounds like Sandra's still thinking at least, right?
Okay. What about this one? Nobody liked this. This one may be too light.
This was 41. 41.
Ooh. Got the pink eye.
Fleshy color. The organ meat color.
I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
cool.
then this one,
especially-
this one's real subtle, but I like it.
That one is
31.
31.
It's kind of like Picasso finish.
Yeah, it is.
Got that kind of gray, but within like that kind of goldish wash on top.
And says 60 is such a yummy one, like mocha metal goodness. Right? That's 60. It's got that little hint of purple in there too, which I like. Sanderson, can you show 58 again? Of course. That's 58. Whoops, hold on. There we go.
And then this one, I'm surprised this one didn't get.
That's 58. What's this one?
27.
27. The green on green.
Yeah, but like bright green.
Yeah, that's like Lizard eye, green on
See,
green.
like this is the other kind of green one. But see how different it is?
And then we had a metallic green one.
That's somewhere else.
It's right here.
That's 51. With the purple eye.
Yeah.
This one goes 20. That's 27. This one, I'm surprised about this one too. I like this one. This was 34.
And says yes, lizard versus froggy versus elf. Which one was this?
34.
34. 34.
It looks different in real life, I think.
They all look a little different in real life.
And then this
They
one,
look good, everybody.
I like the yellow ones, but I don't think any of the yellow ones sold. Like, I really like this one. I'm gonna clean the eyes again before.
What number was that? 29. 20. Look at that eye. It's like a gray, blue, and yellow.
But I thought that was nice because it's underneath the eyelid is kind of that gray color of the polymer, and so it kind of frames it, but like it's like a subtle shadow that goes around it. I think without that kind of grayish blue around it, it would all just look like a yellow. And then this one's pink with a pink eye. Not pink eye like bacterial infection.
What number? 33. 33. Anybody have any requests to see any particular ones again before we close out for the night?
I showed this one, and this one's 49.
This is 49.
That's that concrete one. You know what I kind of like these also is I had them on the background like this.
Yeah. They look really good on that background.
And so that's why I used to carry them up.
They look good on this. The colors showed through, I think, really well in this background on camera. The colors are fairly true on my screen. Oh, that's better. I love color so much, but I really like the black, brown, gray, and mocha this time, says Anne. Into those darker colors.
So if you're curious what book I listened to while I made these, I listened to Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. TJ Kingfisher or just T. I don't know. But I was amused. William listened to it too.
A little bit while I was helping seal them up.
Well, you know how he was thinking about doing stuff?
I know he was thinking about doing stuff.
Well, they did stuff.
Oh, she fell for it.
Well, they both fell for it.
Even after the words on the sword?
Don't worry about it. Wow.
I was like, what is going on in here?
That's a whole thing.
And says, and of course, white. Yes, I like the white a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for all of your grabs that you got. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and, what am I trying to say? Do the spreadsheet and then invoice y'all. And then I'm going to head up to the cottage to clear out the van and pack up for tomorrow morning and then get up bright and early and go to the Pride thing. Can show what's left in the challenge group. I think he has plans for showing what's left.
These are going to go...
I think on his timeline.
My timeline.
Yeah, they'll go on Andrew's timeline if you'd like to purchase more that way. The ones that are available will go there.
But y'all get first dibs.
Yeah, y'all got the first dibs. We just sold 46.
Which one's that one? This one?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I like that one.
Andrew knew right away which one that was. So yeah, thank you all so much. We will share these. Andrew will put it in his timeline, and then I'll share it to mine. We'll share it to the Allegory Gallery page and the Design Challenges group.
But I think William should take the pictures.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
When am I doing that?
After you do the spreadsheet.
And after I do my packing.
And don't forget to do your Duolingo.
And my Duolingo.
I'll watch Tallulah. We're gonna rest on the couch. We're both very tired.
Well, then these might not get pictures until after Pride tomorrow.
Oh.
But we'll see.
If you don't want to sell them, that's okay.
We'll see what happens, y'all. All right. Thank you so much. Have an amazing, amazing evening. And we'll see you back here. Have a great weekend, too. And if you're in Johnstown, come to Pride and come visit us. All right? Have a great one.
Even if you're not in Johnstown.
Yeah, come on down. Noon to 6.
You can come. Maybe see Indigo Girls.
Noon to 6 tomorrow. Pride is free. Indigo Girls start at about $60 a ticket. Yeah.
I don't know if they go down if you're like right before they open.
I don't know. Sometimes that does happen.
So, I got to see Cher for $7.
Yeah, he never lets me forget that. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. We'll see y'all on Monday. Bye, everybody.
See ya.